Okay, so project kitchen begins. We've built units either end so I can get the measurements exactly in between, and then there should be no gaps. We've had to rejig ideas because we need to get a fridge, the sink, a hob and an oven in this small space, and obviously the wheel arch has been a factor on where we want things. So our plan is, at the moment, we're going to have the fridge up this end, then the sink in the middle with a cupboard underneath it, and at the far end we're going to have a hob, just a ceramic hob, and then a microwave combi oven underneath. We've decided to not go gas in the bus because that's just one more thing to worry about, so we've had to make sure that everything's electric. So we've had to buy all the appliances so that I can get all the measurements so that they can fit exactly, because we didn't want to waste any space in it. So let's get started.
Getting on with the kitchen.
Okay, so I've started building the kitchen units. I've decided to do them individually, like you would in a normal kitchen at home, individual carcasses to make it a bit stronger and a bit easier to fit in. So this one here is going to go above the wheel arch, it's going to have the fridge on top of it, and then a little cupboard underneath. So all being well, that's just going to slot straight in there. So that goes in there, and then this bit I'm going to enclose the wheel arch just because it's a bit dusty and a bit grim down there. So that's going to just slot in underneath there, and then we'll have a nice little cupboard underneath to put some pots and pans. Okay, so I've built the unit that's going to go up the other end of the kitchen. This end's going to have the hob on top of the worktop, and then the drawer underneath, just to allow that hob to sit in there. It is quite wide and quite deep, so there's lots of space in there, but I might have to get some dividers or else I'm never going to find the knives and forks. And underneath we're going to have the microwave combi oven, that's just going to sit in there, and then another drawer underneath or a cupboard underneath just for that extra little bit of storage. So this end is going to slot in, all being well, up this end. So that fits in there, and then I've got a base that's going to go on the bottom, and that will obviously get secured in. Wiggle, wiggle. There we go. There's obviously going to be a outside to the chair here, and with the door on here it should all be flush all the way along right up to the other end of the bus. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I've got the two units in. In the middle here is going to be a sink with a cupboard in it. So I've just made a floor at the moment. It's a bit of a snug fit because some of the wood is slightly bowed, so we've made it as a tight fit to help sort of support that. And then this support is going to go across here because of where the sink is. Because of where the sink is, you won't see it here, so it's going to have a fake drawer front on the front here. So I've just cut that bit to support and to be able to screw onto the fake front. I'm not sure about the cupboard heights yet because we need to go and measure up what sort of storage spaces we need, any boxes that's going to go in there, cereal boxes, etc. So I've not made any shelves in here yet until we know exactly what we're going to put on there, because sod's law, I'm going to do it at the wrong height otherwise. So the inside of that will come, but this will just be one big cupboard door front. Okay, so we just popped to the hardware store because I need to get some more wood to start making up the drawers and things like that. And they actually had a bit of Worktop in stock. We were not expecting to pick it up, so we bought it. It was 3 meters, so it was like somewhere up to about here, and obviously we couldn't fit it in the van, so we were trying to work out measurements in our head in the car park of the hardware store so we could cut it down. So at the moment it's overhanging because we went in at about 2 meters because we knew that would give us plenty of room to be able to cut it off. The next project is going to be to cut the hole here where the hob is going to go, and then next to that where the sink is going to go here. So it sort of scares me a little bit, but let's get this going, and then it's actually going to start looking like a proper functioning kitchen. So as you know, we're building the kitchen, and I was starting to feel slightly more confident in my woodworking skills. And I was going to make the doors out of wood, and then I was thinking maybe I'll get a router and I can put some nice patterns and shapes into the door. I was getting a little bit carried away. Anyway, January sales have just come up, and we happened to be in one of the stores and having a look, and we found some proper kitchen panels, which we thought would be able to work, and actually the widths are about right. Unfortunately the heights aren't, so I'm going to have to trim them down. But obviously you can see then that with the worktop that we've got, and the door will fit. I mean, obviously the door's not going here, this is going to be the cutlery drawer, but you can see that actually I think it's going to look a lot smarter than my dodgy woodwork, so it'll actually look a bit more of a professional job. So we've got to get all these fitted, cut down to size, and in the kitchen. So I totally chickened out on the worktop, despite saying I give everything a go. I couldn't do the worktop because if I absolutely mess it up, I was like, no way. So I've roped in Trevor to start cutting out for putting the hob in. Okay, so like I said earlier, I didn't want to cut the worktop because I didn't want to mess it up. However, my esteemed colleague over here has cut it. And he used the external measurements for the length of the hole. So the gap from here to here is the exact length of the unit, not with the base in it. However, we are quite fortunate that we cut the worktop a bit longer in the car park, as I said earlier. So we've got this overhang here. So I think we're going to just lop off the end up there that's not right, and try again.
Take two.
Okay, so second time lucky. We've recut the worktop, so hopefully the hob will now fit into the gap. Make sure the cables go underneath. Oh, look at that. Much better.
Okay, and I've done the same thing for the sink. I've cut the hole, and I've just placed this in here for now, so that's out of the way. Looking good. We've got to obviously plumb it in, and got wiring to do as well, but obviously we'll hit that all later. But let's get on with the rear seat. Okay, so I need to get the other side of the bench seat that's going to fold out, well, come out to be our double bed at the back. So this side I'm going to build a unit. On this side we've got a lift up lid, but this one's going to have drawers on it because then it'll be easier for storage to put like bedding and things like that in. So my plan is to have two drawers and a divider in the middle here, and then it's going to run on runners, as opposed to because it's going to be quite deep. It's going to be as deep as the unit. So I'm not going to put it on runners because I think that will make it a little bit more sort of stable and less likely to fling out when we're going around corners off road. So yeah, that's my plan. Okay, so we've got the back bit built now. Section number 2 done. We've got the nice drawers. They are quite big, quite deep drawers. So hopefully that's going to give us loads and loads of storage. I'll probably put some dividers in there as well, or else I'm going to be rummaging for a pair of socks for a week out of there. When we are going to turn the 2 sofas into our bed at the back, obviously we're going to have a support piece of wood across here. So when we're going to bed, we're just going to leave the drawer out a little bit, because then that's the right thickness here to put a piece of wood on, which will go across here. And then in the morning when it's all done away, just pop the drawer back in, and then away we go, ready for another day's adventuring. We're at the window of the bus. I've had to hold some wood up so that you can actually see this, because obviously the windows are smoked. But if you can see just there, you can see an end of a bit of wood. At the moment you can't tell, but we've painted the splashback of the kitchen black, thinking we were clever, and then we've come out and realised that we're not so clever, and at the ends of the units that we've slipped it over need to also be black because they stand out like a sore thumb. So we've got to take the units out again and just paint the tops of the backs of the units so that we can make those disappear as well.
As you can see, the kitchen is pretty much all finished now. We've put our fridge in. It's going to need just a little batten along the top to finish it off, but that will come at a later stage. We've got the cupboards in, We're going to have a little swing bin on the inside of here, and a gap here where the microwave combi oven's going, but at the moment that's safely wrapped up in its box, so we don't need to put it in yet, and I don't want it to get damaged. We've got a drawer here which will obviously not have screws in it, we'll have our cutlery in it. We are going to get the little poppers so that it's not going to sort of swing open wildly as we're going around those country roads. Sink is pretty much in, we just need to get the taps done, and plugs obviously, so that I can, you know, use the kettle, which is the most important thing in the morning for a cup of tea. We've left the light wire out, the electrics is all being done as well, so at some point we'll have some lighting in here so we can see what we're doing first thing in the morning. Close the wheel arch, don't film that because it didn't go in.
Oh right, okay, sorry.
Bye guys.